Please feel free to adjust the playback speed to 1.25 or 1.5 depending on your preference.
The really good thing about this place is how fast he's able to level up, as it only takes him 4 hours instead of completing a full dungeon raid. With his levels increasing, his experience point requirement will also shoot up, meaning it's going to get more difficult. The realization he had when he encountered Yunho is that he's freshly entered the domain of an S rank, but he seriously needs to go the extra mile if he wants to become stronger. Jin-Woo receives an item permit informing him about the second floor. There's a divination circle that helps traverse between floors. It's placed right where Soul's Tower used to be. Jin-Woo calls for a shadow soldier, and in this case, it happens to be the leader of the ice bears with his gigantic size. Jin-Woo leaps on as his ride and realizes that he's got more monsters to deal with. Before he's even ready, his giant pet zooms past and crushes the monsters. For that reason, he thinks it suitable to nickname him Tank as they head to the divination circle. In Washington, USA, the Federal Bureau of Hunters are gathered to obsess over a strange man. A man they recovered from the A-rank gate, a guy who claims to be a Korean hunter who ended up on the other side of the planet for whatever reason. His story is that he was trapped inside the dungeon for 10 whole years and found himself in America when he woke up. It's a seriously unique case for a person to be discovered inside the gate and then take out an entire A-rank strike squad. They want to know more about him, but the agents mostly suspect he's a magic beast with the memories of a human. At the minimum, he requires the safety of an S rank, or else the entirety of the state will be in danger. They've already contacted the Scavenger Guild, who sent an appropriate S rank to handle the case. It's obviously going to be the nutcase Dong-soo, who is raging his way here. Speaking of this guy, he's pissed that he had to make a quick jump back to the States instead of killing Jin-Woo like he planned. The Korean hunter from earlier is identified as Sun Il Hwang. And that's a dead giveaway for his identity, if you ask me. Back to the Demon Castle, Jin-Woo explains how this world is split between different dimensions. With every floor, new permits pop up, and only by using such permits can the player advance to the next floor. The Demon Tower originally has 100 floors, which means there's at least 100 dimensions inside this castle, of which Jin-Woo climbed his way up to the 27th, easily clearing floors back to back. He judges the mid-ranking demons to be comparable to C-rank monsters. He also knows that the higher-ranked demons are probably way stronger than these guys. The real issue is that he's rushing the process to catch up to the 100th floor in 1 week. Initially, when he received the key to the castle, he assumed it to be an S-rank threat, but so far, everything has been chill and easygoing. This happens as Jin-Woo cuts halfway, reaching all the way up to the 50th dungeon. Here, he encounters the ruler of the lower floors, the avaricious Vulcan, and his guardsmen. This is a boss-level demon worthy of being called dangerous. So Jin-Woo thinks he should handle the threat appropriately. He unleashes his mage to cast their fire spells. Then he assigns Igris and Iron to take care of the guardsmen who are already rushing to attack. Jin-Woo uses his stealth skill to opt out of the fight while they're battling against the guardsmen. Thanks to the fact that his soldiers have been leveling up with him, they can easily keep up with the guardsmen. Also, he's boosted all of his stats, allowing him to cast and preserve more shadow soldiers and even supply them with sufficient mana. The real problem is why the fat boss hasn't made a single move. Jin-Woo severely underestimates him and experiences an "oh, I'm" moment because this fatty can literally jump so high and so fast. He literally crushes Jin-Woo's soldiers, including Iron, with a single smash, shocking our boy greatly. Vulcan also destroys Igris with a single swipe, forcing Jin-Woo to come rushing full speed with a supercharged fist. Pissed as hell, Jin-Woo puts everything into this one punch. His attack just now sends the gigantic monster flying through buildings. Jin-Woo seriously wasn't expecting this attack to work until he remembers that he invested most of his stats into strength. However, Vulcan isn't down for the count. In fact, Gorlock, the destroyer over here, has entered a rage state, buffing all his stats by 50%. It's the same skill that Cerberus used and gave our boy a great deal of trouble. The creature's pain threshold has bumped up a notch, allowing it to become even stronger. Jin-Woo can't risk blocking or dodging Godzilla's attacks over here, so he calls Iron for a last-minute rescue. The soldier tosses his shield, which Jin-Woo catches at the last moment. The raging Vulcan puts his everything into this one swing, connecting with Jin-Woo's shield. It's only thanks to his incredible strength stats that he's holding up the defense. But that won't be all to win this fight. Jin-Woo is scouting for an opening to attack. Just as the monster recoils to prepare a second swing, he launches from the ground and readies his blade. Shockingly, Vulcan is crazy intelligent and anticipated our boy to do just that. Now he's in a serious pinch and won't be able to move his body mid-jump. Then it dawns on him that Jin-Woo can merely use Commander's touch to shove himself out of the way, which was a wise decision as Vulcan's swing crushed everything in its path. The real problem is that he can't deal any potent injuries to this behemoth with his dagger besides its head. He calmly reassesses the situation and scouts for an opportunity that will guarantee his attacks to hit. Jin-Woo dashes for an escape, causing the berserk creature to chase right after him. It's exactly what he wants, as Jin-Woo activates his speed ability to leap on top of a broken building. His plan just now was to make the monster come to an abrupt stop after using its immense speed. This gives Jin-Woo the striking opportunity to go for a killer double slash on its shoulder. A first critical hit causes Vulcan to roar in pain. Let's revisit what's going on in the outside world. Hyun and the manager came to check on Jin-Woo, but he's nowhere to be found. They were only able to learn from Gina through song that he's away for a week's worth of trip. They were unable to discover anything new, especially considering the fact that he hasn't been spotted leaving the country or withdrawing any bank money. The manager did his fair share of research and they only spotted him at the city center last time. Hyun wonders if he's been kidnapped, but that's just a funny assumption since kidnapping a guy like him would require a damn expert squad. They're unsure where this guy disappeared off the face of the earth. The so-called kidnapped dude is currently beating the crap out of Vulcan with a smile on his face. The brutal fight comes to an end as Vulcan's corpse rests on the ground. He receives incredible clearance rewards for overcoming this fight. A lot of them are accessories and even a fragment of a world tree to craft a magic tool. Then there's the Demon Monarch's earrings, which have their own set effects. This makes Jin-Woo wonder if he'll obtain other items inside the dungeon after defeating the demons. There's also an incredibly rare Orb of Avarice which amplifies the user's magic damage twofold. Igris comes bringing him the severed heads of the guardsmen. Jin-Woo is kind of annoyed with the whole collecting heads thing because this iron just brought Vulcan's gigantic head to him. Jin-Woo remembers how he used Iron's shield to his advantage. So now he gives his mages the Orb of Avarice, signaling them to attack the building nearby. Impressively, their spells are extremely amplified and capable of unleashing more damage thanks to its effects. The hunter has now confirmed that he can pass on his abilities to his mages. Even the mage hunters would pay invaluable money just to get their hands on something like this. Returning to the States, we see Dong-Soo in a meeting with Sun Il Hwan. Shocked that this man is a magic beast. Hwan tries to clear his name, stating that he isn't a magic beast, and they can run any test to confirm that. Dong-Soo argues that he could very well be a beast pretending to be a human and recommends that he cooperate accordingly. After all, Dong-Soo will be placed in charge of judging whether he is or isn't a demon. He asks just how he was able to survive an entire decade inside the dungeon. Dong-Soo is seriously curious because he thinks his brother may have a chance of making it out alive just like this guy did. Hwan decides to shift the flow of the conversation and asks a question of his own. He asks how much an S-rank hunter knows about the gates. Dong-Soo is dying to know if he's got something special to say. Hwan explains that what they see is just the tip of the iceberg, and a seriously powerful force even more threatening will come their way soon. Hwan's purpose here is to stop the destruction, but he can't spill the exact details. Dong-Soo finds it rather amusing and thinks that it's logical to rely on numbers rather than managing it himself. However, Hwan believes that their numbers will prove to be futile anyway. He also remarks that Dong-Soo is a strong hunter, which surprisingly comes as an insult to this egotistical because it basically suggests that Hwan is the only one capable of stopping the destruction to come. Also, he assessed the man's photo, coming to the conclusion that he looks familiar. His experience is commendable, and with the ranking system now developed, he could easily earn a lot of money in today's day and age. He further reads the report and comes to sheer shock when he reads Hwan's son's name. Dong-Soo smiles at the sheer mention of his son, and this time he's thriving with bloodlust hostility. Hwan is pissed as hell and worried that something might have happened to his son. Dong-Soo isn't letting up and thinks that this might be a second chance. He further provokes the guy by deeming Hwan a magic beast, even informing the deputy about it. Dong-Soo claims that he knows what happened to his son and states that he's already dead due to the Red Gate incident. Hwan's face turns to disbelief as Dong-Soo boastfully claims that he can rejoin him when he's killed.
We will finish this chapter here. Next chapter will be out soon, so stay tuned.